pace car pulling away. Leaves it in the hands of the 07. And we're getting ready to get started on the 5/8 mile here at Nashville. In 2025, celebrating 121 years of racing here at this historic speedway. Fans, as long as you're here, we'll race for 121 more. Green flags in the air for Michael Pennell, and a big scuffle on the start as he falls way back, loses about 3 positions. But Michael Pennell going to have to fight back through this field. Lost 4 positions off the initial start, but now you've got Dylan Oliver out of Bowling Green, Kentucky, taken to the point. Started on the outside of the front row. Aiken got to look to the inside here. He's going to have the preferred lane, but he slides up the racetrack a little. They're going to lose some space there off the exit of the corner, but they remain side by side. Bo Mitchell got a great run off the top groove. Battle for the 3rd place spot still heating up once again. The 41 up the racetrack. They're still side by side. He just can't get past Bo Mitchell, but they are dead even down the back straightaway into turn number 3, and Michael Pennell right there just waiting for a chance to pounce.
Once again, Mitchell completely sideways, dirt tracking that car. Wow.
And turn 4 has kind of been a trouble spot for these cars, and especially like you mentioned, John, with the weight and the shift that these cars have, it can be a trouble coming over that bump. As now Gus Moody looking to the inside off of turn number 2. And it looks like Barnes is going to give him that space on the inside of the racetrack, but it'll be a drag race here as they hit the stripe for 2 to go. And it is all Dylan Oliver out front off of turn number 2, but the battle here is for second between Barnes and Aiken.
Aiken now with the advantage off of 2 as he pulls away just a little bit and should get that position, and he does. So put Blaine Aiken in second as we get the white flag here in the CRA Street Stocks.
Dylan Oliver takes the white flag. He comes off of turn number 2, and you saw it just about a half a lap ago. Blaine Aiken taking that 2nd place position from Matt Barnes, a 30-lap run to the finish, but it was all Dylan Oliver from the drop of the green flag. Bowling Green, Kentucky's Oliver wins here tonight in the Street Stock feature at Nashville. And old Potter kind of got a little tight going into turn 1 and 2, and he kind of faded up the racetrack. Him and Corey Doozer went up there together, and now Corey Doozer trying to fight off that high side. You continue to run that high side. You saw it a little bit in the Street Stock feature as well. That can hurt your tires a little bit more.
Oh, Hunter Wright loose out of 4.
Now you see Hunter Wright here looking to the inside of Tucker Wingo into turn number 1. Here's Hunter Wright fighting for that position. He's going to try to fight for that 6th spot away from Tucker Wingo as they head down the back straightaway. Still side by side here, but it's all Chase Johnson out front. He got a wicked restart, and that's something that Chase Johnson has done well since he started racing in these Pro Late models. He's quick on that single lap speed. It's just retaining it over the long run. And Hunter Wright going to get that position, it looks like, into turn number 2. Tucker Wingo going to concede that to Hunter Wright. But now if you look just behind him, that number 95, Michael Bolden, is now waiting in the wings to try to take advantage. And right behind him, that number 51 Fetcho prepared machine of Anthony Bello, coming out of the Northeast from Connecticut, typically a modified racer, but has seen some part-time starts with the Fetcho Motorsports Development Camp over the last couple of months. And you've seen Bolden kind of fall back into the clutches of Reeves, but Reeves is really taking his time now as he peeks his nose to the inside there on Bolden off of turn number 2, but thinks better of it and falls back in line. But you can still see Corey Doozer. This is exactly what he does a lot of races, is he waits in the wings, waits for those opportunities, lets guys kind of wear out their own tires, and then he takes advantage of it. And Chase Johnson is setting his own pace, but it is a quick pace. 19.712 on that last lap by for Chase Johnson. That was over a 10th and some change quicker than the 2nd place car of Daniel Bolden. And Max Reeves, driving that number 18 out of Trinity, North Carolina, and he's kind of one of those local drivers from New Smyrna, races at New Smyrna on the regular and has a handful of wins already this year at that track, as now he's looking to the inside on Bolden, but again just gets a little bit loose off the exit of turn number 2 and has to settle for that 3rd spot still. You can kind of see that spacing around there for the 51 as he makes his way past Bolden. He has that position off of turn number 2, so Bello now will hold on to that 8th place spot, but the battle really is up and around as Smokey Potter gets knocked up the racetrack by Hunter Wright there in the middle of 3 and 4.
We're watching a great battle on Racing America, but what a save by Potter.
And Max Reeves that last time around got by Daniel Bolden, who's kind of got trapped on the high side. He was losing speed continuously, and now Max Reeves has made his way through, along with Corey Doozer, and now Hunter Wright has gained several positions over the last lap and a half, and Aiden Potter trying to recover from that near miss opportunity. But man, really off the pace now is the 09 of Daniel Bolden, it looks like. It looks like he may be trying to take a dive to pit road, and it looks like he is. He's going to make his way to pit road entry right in the middle of turns 3 and 4. We'll see if maybe they could try to fix what's ailing that number 09 Bolden machine. But Chase Johnson still out front by a considerable ways. He's got about a 4-second lead over Max Reeves, who runs in second, and then Corey Doozer in that third spot. You've seen these three, Max Reeves, Corey Doozer, and Hunter Wright, running within a few car lengths of each other. I think they're just content to ride, maybe try to dig into some of that time that Chase Johnson has put on the field. T. Hamlet trying to get by Wingo there. That'll be for the 8th spot. Trey Craig got by him just a little bit ago, but Jackson Boone now trying to take advantage as Hamlet has that spot into turn number 3. But we mentioned Jackson Boone, who just got some time in this car yesterday, and if there's one person in this field who knows a thing or two about saving tires and preserving for the long run at this racetrack, it's none other than Jackson Boone in that 11 car.
Absolutely smart race car driver, like you said, 2019 track champion. Won that championship, I believe, at the age of 18.
Same year.
He was a senior in high school.
Same year he graduated from high school.
Unbelievable, man. What a wheel, man.
Max Reeves now trying to dig into that lead. It looked like he may have been running a little bit quicker. Last couple laps has kind of fallen off there, as well as Corey Doozer. Hunter Wright and Corey Doozer have been right around within 3 or 4 car lengths of each other, but Max Reeves starting to pull away from those two and hold on confidently to that second place spot. But you see Aiden Potter, who had that big moment off camera, or folks at the track saw it too, but he's rallied back. He's holding on to the 5th spot pretty solidly, just ahead of his teammate Anthony Bello. And a lot of these guys, we mentioned how some of these guys will run their faster laps a little bit later into this run. So far, it's been all green flag, and some of the guys who had their fastest laps later in the run will look no further than the guys a little bit farther down the running order in Benny Hamlet and Jackson Boone. We mentioned those are two guys who know how to save their equipment, and right now it's all single file with Chase Johnson out front by about 3.5 seconds. And that's something for Fetcho Racing anyway, or Fetcho Motorsports now, as they call it now, because they've kind of went through a rebranding. When Dylan ran here, they were Dylan Fetcho Racing for his multiple track championships in multiple different divisions, but now here they've kind of shifted to the driver development side, and a big part of that has fell in Aiden Potter, who's had plenty of races, but this is his full first rookie season here at the fairgrounds in the Pro Late Models, and he looks to hopefully bring home a track championship. But John, when we talked to him around media day, he was pretty humble, I guess you could say. The small victories lead to bigger goals for Aiden Potter. Chase Johnson still stretching out that lead out front. You can see Jackson Boone and Benny Hamlet out towards the back of the field, but this Fetcho Motorsports camp, you can see Anthony Bello looks like he's got a lot more speed here off turn 2. He's going to carry it to the inside of Smokey Potter this time around. That's Connecticut's driver right there. He's raced a lot in the modifieds up in the Northeast, raced at Thompson and Stafford up there in the Northeast, and now he takes that spot away from Aiden Potter and moves up into the top 5. And we saw these drivers when we saw some of the quickest times in qualifying in the mid to high 18s. Those were some of your quickest qualifying laps, and now these tires have worn out. They've fallen into the 22nd bracket now over the course of this run, and those tires are only going to continue to fall off and wear a little bit more, less speed in the corners. It's going to take a lot more skill, a lot more determination in saving your tires over the course of this 100-lap race.
Racing America, as he comes through, there's that damage that we talked about.
Yeah, you can see it there on the front of that Gen 2 nose of that Camaro and that Chevrolet for Hunter Wright, and that's something that's been kind of up for a debate too, is whether those Gen 2 bodies, the Gen 2 noses for these Pro Late models maybe give you a little bit of an aero advantage. But one thing's for sure is with some damage like that, no matter what kind of nose you have on your race car, it's not going to help you at all.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. We see Hunter still clocking good laps.
And one of the closest battles on the racetrack is Smokey Potter, who's continued to kind of fall back into the clutches of Louisville, Kentucky's Trey Craig. And if you were wondering whether that Chevrolet is in fact a typical Chevrolet, well, you'd be wrong. It's a Corvette decals on that car for Trey Craig in that number 15. And you know, he got some new decals, won the Battle of Broadway last year against some of the big Cup stars and Josh Berry and Ross Chastain. And he said as soon as he won it, he won that 15 grand. And he said, first thing we're going to do, we're going to buy some new Corvette stickers. And that's exactly what they did.
We talked about it before the race and told him, look, you win this race, you get that big check. You need to get this thing right.
Smokey's not making it easy on him. He's going to continue to use that momentum off the high side to hold Trey Craig at bay. But into turn 3, once again, he's going to move to the inside. It looks like they'll be side by side again. But look at that run that Smokey Potter gets off the top line. He holds on to the spot. 3 wide for the race lead for a moment. They're off of turn 2, but this is the exact opposite of how this race started for Chase Johnson, as Hunter Wright trying to lean on him there off the corner of 4.
Max Reeves takes advantage and goes to P1.
Now Corey Doozer, he's going to look at dives it in deep to the corner, chasing after Hunter Wright. He's holding on to that 4th spot, and up into the 5th spot is Anthony Bello now for the Fetcho Motorsports camp. And this is exactly what Hunter Wright wanted. He wanted to follow Johnson through. Reeves still struggling up there on that outside. He's got the momentum on occasion, especially through turns 1 and 2. We'll see what Hunter Wright does with him here. And it looks like he's going to clear him with ease off turn 2. He'll hold on to that second spot now from Reeves. This could be an opportunity for Corey Doozer from Indiana, now riding in that 4th position. That's about where he was before that competition caution. And Max Reeves maybe falling back into his clutches now, as it looks like this entire top 5 is kind of pulled away from the field, as Trey Craig all the way back there in 6th is fighting with Aiden Potter now for that position. Johnson continued to put a little bit of time between him there, but as you see in this group, Mark Day and Jackson Boone continue to separate themselves, but Chase Johnson comfortably out front and running back in those 19-second lap times as the rest of the field goes by the front straightaway with about 39 laps to go last time by, and Hunter Wright and Max Reeves look to be about the closest battle on the racetrack. And Corey Doozer, all that top 5, just continuing to settle in now for what could be this final run to the checkered flag. And you can see Bello there on your screen. Corey Doozer trying to hold him off, but Bello, this isn't technically his kind of rodeo. He's more of a modified racer and has continued to get more starts here with the Fetcho camp. Had a couple of starts not too long ago at New Smyrna back in February with Fetcho Motorsports, but now here he is at Nashville. If I'm not mistaken, this would be his debut at the fairgrounds in the Pro Late Models, and is fighting here inside the top 5, trying to run down Corey Doozer. You can see Corey Doozer and Anthony Bello still fighting for that spot. Bello has continued to kind of dig and take off a car length from that space there from Corey Doozer. Corey Doozer just recently got married late last year and is now expecting his first child with his wife, and they're going to be expecting it about August. I talked to him a little bit earlier about that, and he was explaining how he's like, well, she's due in August, but we're worried because there's also a race here in August. So we're wondering if that's going to line up, but his plan is to run the full season unless something comes up with that. But newlywed and soon-to-be father for Corey Doozer, currently running in that 4th place position. Doozer is hoping those tires continue to hold on as he's continued getting hounded by Anthony Bello there for the 4th place position. Bello has just continue to reel him in. It's like he's got a fishing lure attached to the rear end of that number 14 Ford of Corey Doozer, but now here he is pulling right up to the back bumper, trying to take that 4th spot away, but he just can't quite get his nose to the inside to make the move. Now Jackson Boone and Mark Day are back dueling it out into turns 1 and 2. Boone tried to make a move to the inside there off turn number 4, couldn't quite get it done, and now he's carrying the momentum into turn 3, still looking to the inside of Mark Day now. And he might have a shot here as Day goes way up the racetrack. They'll be side by side here off turn 4 to the stripe. This is the first time through. Boone's had his nose out in front of Day there off turn number 4. And he's cleared him by about half a car length. It looks like he'll finally have that position and take 8th place away from Mark Day. Craig in his Chevrolet Corvette out of Louisville, Kentucky. Representing Kentucky with those Corvette decals. He was last year's Battle of Broadway 150 winner, beating the likes of Josh Berry and even Ross Chastain, who will be back again this year in the Battle of Broadway. But they continue to fight, as you see there on your screen. Anthony Bello just continuing to hold off Trey Craig, with Chase Johnson now running into some lap traffic through turns 1 and 2. To go, it'll be 4 to go when Chase Johnson hits the stripe here back around the racetrack. But Hunter Wright, this is the closest he's been to Chase Johnson over the course of this entire green flag run. The lap before, he was 1.4 back, and after navigating that lap traffic, he's now 1.5 seconds back of Chase Johnson, but he's only got 4 more laps to try to make up that deficit and go for a win. And Chase Johnson, not only has he been getting it done on the racetrack, joined his realtor business with his dad with Action Homes, has been selling some homes over the last couple weeks. So not only is he getting it done on the racetrack, he's getting it done off the track, but this is where he does all that for us, to get it done right here at the Nashville Fairgrounds. All last year, the question wasn't if Chase Johnson was going to win one of these races, it was when. He just happened to staple off the season in the All-American 100 and got that long-awaited win he'd been looking for in the Pro Late Models, and arguably no one of the regular field came into this season with more momentum than Chase Johnson. And what do you know? He comes out here, he's the fastest car all week long, and he parks it in victory lane.